Welcome to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida's new and exciting weekly radio show. A show focused on businesses in Bay and surrounding counties. Business Between the Lines is hosted by Kristi Kirkland, a business accelerator with Answer Marketing, and co-hosted by Jayson Price, a video guru with Riplify Media.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Kristi.
And we're back.
We're back.
ESPN Northwest Florida's Business Between the Lines show. And we have someone coming on the show, and he is going to share so much information.
And there's going to be a lot of laughing, so just watch the volume knob right now.
So he is a very funny guy in a very serious industry.
Yes.
Steve Dick with Caliber Home Loans. He has a ton of information. I am telling you right now, you need to grab a notepad and a pen, because he's going to give you some insightful tips that everybody needs to know, and just about everybody is messed up when they're buying
and for
something
me,
big.
as a 27-year-old married, doesn't have a home yet, anytime that Steve is speaking at the A-team, anytime I'm having a conversation with him, I'm like, what? Really? What? There's this new thing? What?
Yeah, so
every time I learn
when
something.
he lays out that question, he's like, so what's the answer to this? Don't answer, because you probably don't know the answer. Go ahead and just let him fill it in. But
and what I love is whenever I think of finances and mortgages, I'm like, that's the most boring thing on the planet. But Steve is the opposite of that.
Yeah,
he can be talking about mortgage rates and laugh about it.
When you hear someone tell a joke and you're like, dude, do not quit your day job. But no, he could, and he could still be successful. No.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to be right back with Steve Dick with Caliber Home Loans. He has over 20 years of experience in the mortgage industry, and he's not just going to talk numbers with you. He's going to give you some insightful tips, things that can help you, even if you're not buying a home, to take care of that credit. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Kristi. Hey, Steve.
And welcome back, everyone, to Northwest Florida, ESPN's Business Between the Lines show. We are, as promised, here with the Steve Dick from Caliber Home Loans. And he is ready to impart some wisdom, some powerful tips. So I hope you have your pen and your notepad ready. Lay it on us. Wisdom us.
How much power? How much wisdom?
Level 9 power, wisdom 11.
All right. Do it.
So what do we want to know about today? A little credit, a little pay your bills.
A little how to do the best thing you can for your financial situation.
And like what not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely
so
not to do. And we
biggest thing we need to talk about is what to do to get your credit where it needs to go.
Yes.
Biggest mistake I see is people that had bad credit in the past, and they said to themselves, you know what? If I can't pay for it, I'm just going to buy it with cash. I am not putting anything on credit, never happening to me again. The problem with that is that you're like the kid that didn't take the math test. Maybe you know the material, maybe you don't. I don't know, you didn't take any tests. Until you get a loan, there's nothing in the credit bureau to grade you on.
Right.
So the first thing I usually have people do is go get a credit card. I need a credit card.
So these are those people that say, well, I don't have bad credit. And you're like, yeah, but you don't have any credit.
And you probably have some bad credit.
It's still bad credit because it's not good credit.
It's just non-existent.
Yeah.
You just can't do anything with it.
You need good credit.
You do.
Bad credit and no credit won't get you nowhere.
Doesn't get you anywhere. You know, again, if you have somebody that for 20 years has paid their bills and you can see that on a credit score, you say to yourself, okay, this guy should get a 2.75% rate. You have somebody else with absolutely no history. Do they get the same rate as the other guy? No, because there's nothing to grade them on.
Yeah. It's like if you were to borrow my pen and in the past you have returned pens, I might trust you.
I mean, if it was a good pen, I'm going to keep it.
If you've never returned it, I might not give you my pen.
So I know you don't always get people at their prime moment in their life when they haven't made any mistakes. It's usually after they've gone to someone else and totally screwed up and done the wrong things, and they come to you with this hangdog look, and they're like, fix me. What are some of the things that they may have done or not done that really hurt them?
Well, you have to be careful about collections, who to pay, when to pay, how much to pay. And usually the quickest fix I have is I tell people, go get a credit card. And I want a Visa or MasterCard. Because, you can't go to Publix and slide your Badcock furniture card. you gotta have the good one.
You saw me?
I did. Now then, let's just say Uncle Jayson here has a $200 medical collection. Well, what I will have him do is call up the collection agency, see if they will delete that from his, if he pays it in full, will you delete it from my credit bureau? If they'll do that, use your brand new credit card, pay off the old debt, replace it with new good debt. I'm not asking you to get the credit card to get in debt. I just want some of those grades we were talking about. And when you delete something, that is different than it just being updated and showing a zero balance. Delete means it's gone. It's like it never ever happened. That's what I want. And I've found that medical companies are the most likely to delete something.
Good stuff.
And a lot of times people are like, well, can I get a settlement? Sure. But if I had the choice between you settling a debt for half the price and it stays on your credit bureau, or you pay the whole thing off and it's deleted, pay the whole thing, delete it.
Yeah.
Because the couple $100 you're going to save doesn't compare to the thousands of dollars I'll save you on your mortgage.
I know from talking to you before, you've also given the advice, like some people, they think, okay, in order for me to raise up my credit and get a better score, I need to pay everything off. I need to pay off my car loan. I need to pay off the boat thing. I need to zero balance out everything. What do you say to that?
That hurts my feelings.
Surprised?
So here's the deal, and I love this example. If Kristi and I got out of school today, and she owed $20,000 in bills, she owed all installment loans. That's personal loans, student loans, car loans. And I owed $20,000 in credit card debt. 3 years later, she's paid off every nickel, dime, and penny that she's owed, and I've done the same. My score is actually going to be higher than hers. And the reason is I have $20,000 of available credit. She has nothing. 30% of your score is made up of the difference between what you owe versus what's available. You have no available credit.
Right.
You just skipped 30% of your score.
So I just feel good all by myself.
You do. Now, 3 years later, we've both been great. You haven't gotten any new debt, neither have I. The gap between our scores just got bigger. The reason is you have installment debt. That fades away. You no longer get credit for it the further along you get from it. My credit card debt is revolving. So it's still reporting every single month. So now I'm going to be even cooler than you.
Right.
Because the gap between our scores
Steve
just got bigger.
Than me.
Just got bigger.
Right. So what's the golden number? If you have a credit card and it's got $1,000 limit on it, where should you keep that and make sure that balance doesn't get to, you don't want to max it out, right?
You prefer not to. Your perfect point, you always want to be 30% or below. Okay. And a lot of times we'll have somebody and I'll try and figure out what their score will be, and I'll say, okay, Jayson, you take your $1,000 credit card and you pay it down to $300, and you say to yourself, Steve, I know you think you know what you're doing, but I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to pay the whole thing off. And I'm like, well, that's fantastic, Jayson. You just cost me points. Because having a little bit of credit gives you a higher score than having it completely paid off. Okay. That's the reason I told you to pay it down to $300, but you didn't listen.
So then the goal then is pay down to $300, and should people then just aim to always have it? You know, at around 300 is their balance. If they go over that, pay it back down.
Yeah, you want to be at 30% or below. That's kind of your goal. When you're one of those people that's scrapping for every point, if you've got a 760 score and above, I really wouldn't concern myself with it. Mm-hmm. But if you're sitting there in that lower 600 range, every 20 points is a big deal. Mm-hmm. So for you, before you put in that application, let's get the credit card down to 30%. Let's do all the little tweaking now before you get your credit pulled.
So then what do you say to the people that are like, oh, I never want to ever pay interest on a credit card ever? And obviously if there's that 30%, there is a little bit of interest that's being paid, and then there's the benefit of having the credit. So what do you say to that sort of?
I say it's short-sighted.
Okay.
So
I have heard that you speak with candor.
Candor from him? No.
Those with the last name of Dick speak with candor. It has been built and bred into us. So here's the deal. If you pay interest on a $300 balance, even if that interest is 20%, it's going to be a matter of a few bucks. Right. But if I can get your score from a 620 to a 640 or higher, well, now the difference in your interest rate is going to save you thousands of dollars over time.
So it's worth the few bucks.
Yeah, I mean
a lot.
Are you gonna worry about saving $200 if I can save you $2,000? One makes more sense than the other. And listen, once we close the mortgage, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, paying off collections and stuff. Sometimes I cry when they come and say, hey, Steve, I just paid off all my old bills and I'm ready to have my credit pulled. And part of me cries inside because I know this is going to be bad. Because when you pay off that debt, sometimes it reads in the credit bureau as a recently paid charge-off and will drop your score all over again. Not good. If I need a debt to be paid off, I'll wait till right before closing, have it paid. If your score drops a little bit after closing, who cares?
Yeah.
You'll have a mortgage, your score will build right back up. There's going to be no damage to you. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the thinking.
Smarts right here. So when you come to him, get your notepad, and when he tells you to do something, put it in Sharpie. Mm-hmm. Make sure that it happens. Don't deviate.
Tell my wife I'm smart. Be nice.
I'll tell the wife, the dog, and the kids.
Yep.
There you go.
So guys, thanks so much for listening to this little segment. Kristi and I will be right back. There's a lot more to this that we're going to talk to. Steve, thanks so much for being on the show.
You're awesome.
See you, kids.
We'll see you guys. We'll be right back.
Live and local sports, high school sports, college football, the NFL, the Atlanta Braves, the Dan Patrick Show, the Herd with Colin Cowherd, the James Hale Show, the Coach's Daughter Show. Sports, we cover it all. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Kristi.
And everyone, welcome back to Northwest Florida ESPN Business Between the Lines show. We had with us Steve Dick. I hope you guys were taking notes because he honestly helps people get that American dream that we're all looking for. I mean, if you think about it, nobody wants to pay somebody else for the rest of their life unless, I guess, maybe some people do.
Yeah.
You want to own. You want to own your own real estate. You want to own your little piece of the pie, a little piece of Americana, and a lot of people think that that is out of their reach, and that's why I adore him so much, because I have spoken with a lot of mortgage lenders, and they're in it for, okay, let's pull your score. You're not there yet. I really can't do that much for you. This is the interest rate you're going to get. And they give you these horrible numbers. You're like, yeah, I'm just going to rent for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And they're like, see ya. And then you walked away from it with a hard pull on your credit and no help.
Right.
But then Steve works with people and gives advice and gets on shows like our show just to educate the public. He's not getting paid to be on the show.
Right.
He just came just to share the knowledge because he wants to genuinely help people.
Yeah. And I know for a fact he has worked with people for over a year to get them where they needed to be. Took them from the depths of despair in their credit report where it was this abysmal blackness, and said, I can help you. And he's like, follow my advice, do what I advise you and stuff. And he's got them in homes and not paying through the nose getting them into homes.
Like my wife and I are right in the middle of working with Steve and trying to get all of our stuff. Like our credit is pretty okay. We're working through getting a loan. Right. But like what he shared just now about credit card and keeping it like the 30%, or so mark, with us being like on the cusp of getting a house, like we really need to focus on that sort of stuff. So like between the show, I was telling him like, oh yeah, that was my takeaway. Is the credit cards that we have, let's work on paying them down, but not completely off. Once we get the mortgage in place, then we can go ahead and kill them if we wanted to.
Yeah, and he gave some really great advice. And again, I know I don't want to just regurgitate everything they said, but there are a lot of things that I hope people glean from this, and it was making sure that if you do have a collections on your account, that you don't just pay it off, that you actually call and speak to somebody. You're going to have to communicate. We helped you with some communication tips before.
Hop on the phone and actually speak with somebody with a real voice.
No texting, so sorry.
Yeah, I don't think the hospitals will let you text them with the billing department.
It'll be a little bit frustrating, but it will definitely be worth it in the end to make that call and just let them know, hey, I'm ready to pay this off, but can you guarantee me that it'll be deleted off of my report, not just show as a zero balance?
And it was cool to know that there's a big difference between it being deleted versus it just being paid off.
Right.
I mean, that's really cool.
And then giving us those differences between two totally different personas that, one has credit card and one has the loan debt.
Yeah, because it seems different. I mean, I look at it, I'm like, oh, well, this person,
$20,000
$20,000 over here, $20,000 over here, it's fine. But one person, it being all the, like car loans and things that are paid off, compared to one person being credit cards. Well, the credit cards, once they're paid down, you still have them. You still have all that available credit, which then affects so much of your credit score.
Yeah, that was a lot of really great information. But I will tell you, I love having people like Steve on the show that talk the talk, walk the walk. They're out there in our community. We have a great community with some really amazing people, and there is no time that is too great for him. So don't be afraid to chase this American dream. Don't be afraid to fix things in your life. We had Micah Henderson with Highland Finance, and he was giving the same talk, come to me. I don't care where you're at in life.
Yeah.
It's not too late to start and get out there. But I think so many people are so afraid to be told no, or I can't help you. You just got to find the right people.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're
giving you the right people.
Want to help you if you're paying for the consultancy fee, if you're actually using their service. But
or
then
if
there
something
are people,
in it for them.
Yeah, something in it for them. But then there are people like Micah. There's people like Steve who know a ton and will help you even, they don't advertise it, but help you even if they're not getting paid anything for it.
Right. Yeah, because I can guarantee Steve did not make any money that entire year he was helping his client get to the point that she needed to be at so that she could buy a home. People that are in it to really see that person at the end of the finished product, when they look at them and there's tears in the eyes and they're like, I never thought I could be here. Micah and Steve do stuff like what they do because of that. That's their why.
Yeah,
like
that's
John
their fuel.
Byrne. Yeah, when we talked with him, we had him on the show, and he was like, if you're looking back in your life and you're trying to decide, what do I want to be, you have to know your why. That's their why. They have a very strong why.
He was talking about like starting with the end goal, in mind. And based on everything that I know about my friends Micah and Steve, like their end goal is helping people on their financial journey. Both of them work in different fields of their financial journey.
Right.
But I mean, whenever they lay down their deathbed, they're going to look back and like, oh, well, okay, I helped a lot of people. Some of them paid me, and some of them didn't. But overall, I made their lives better, and I was able to help them get into their house and help them able to get whatever they needed for their financial plan and just help people.
Yeah, I'm a little bit choked up right now, so you're going to have to keep going with the show. Now, Steve is definitely one, we said it here on the show, he speaks with candor.
Yeah.
So all of the people that
Which means he's honest. He's not going to beat around the bush. Like, if your credit sucks, he'll say your credit sucks.
Right.
He's not saying,
and then he'll say, now let me help you.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
But everybody that we've ever had on the show is kind of like that. If you really want help, you want someone that's going to speak the truth to you. You want someone that's going to be straightforward and upfront with you, and then also someone that really honestly has the best interest at heart. So watch our previous shows. We give you their names, we give you their companies, they're ready for you, they want to help you. I mean, this is all about why ESPN brought us on and had this show, because they're all about the community. They're all about helping the businesses and people, our locals that are here just trying to make it. And so many of them never take that next step because they don't have all the answers to the questions. You don't know what you don't know until you know it.
But then you get to talk to people like Steve and talk to people like Micah, and then like you mentioned with the with Candor, something that Micah, I think he shared when he was on here, or maybe he shared with me personally, is he had somebody that walked into the office and they knew they really needed a particular type of insurance, but didn't think they could afford it. And then one of them had a Starbucks drink in their hand. So he asked, well, how often do you have Starbucks?
Yeah.
And they said, well, twice a day. He's like, well, if we were to do the twice a day coffee to the once a day coffee, and you multiply that, multiply that by an entire month, that's more than what I need to make this insurance thing happen. But it took a little bit of candor to say, hey, bozo, maybe drink a little less coffee.
Little sacrifices. And you do have to ask yourself, when you're trying to pursue the American dream and you see other people that already have it, what did they sacrifice to get there? Everybody does it. If you really want it, you have to make sacrifices. And you have to listen to these people that are telling you the cold, hard truth. And you have to follow it.
And it's like what John Burns said whenever he was on our show about surrounding yourself, like how he always surrounded himself with people that are older and wanted to know like what they did to get to where they're at. Because he also wanted to get to where they were at. And once he got to that age, he found other people that were older and wiser and had done more stuff than he had done.
So our community is loaded with amazing people like the ones that we have on this show. You just got to reach out to them. You got to do your homework. You can start here with Business Between the Lines because we kind of lined up some amazing people and just watch some past episodes and you'll get all the help that you need to get where you want to go. But that's what this is all about, community coming together and helping each other. And I'm so thankful for our circle of friends and who we can have on here sharing all this because they're so open and honest with what they have.
I'm thankful for our circle of friends, for amazing guests, and for our amazing sponsors that make Business Between the Lines happen. Huge shout out to Vortex Spring, to Highland Finance, that's Micah, and to Aero Pest Service for everything you guys do to help this show happen each and every week. Guys, next week, I don't know who we're going to have on, but it's going to be another great story. You're going to walk away with something else that you learned next week. So be sure to tune in next Sunday at 8 a.m. for Business Between the Lines. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for listening to Business Between the Lines. Join us every Sunday morning beginning at 8 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.